Jonah Trinnaman for the first time.
Hey, we can talk to you.
Yeah.
This is great.
In person, on camera, as part of BYU Sports Nation, and coming off of a win in your first Division I college football game. What was the experience like for you playing in that stadium in front of 50,000 plus fans?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I watched, Arizona play, whoever, in the NFL games, and then, getting off the bus and walking to it, seeing all these people, all these BYU fans. It was crazy. It was exciting. A lot of people, 50,000 people. It was loud, and it was just a fun game. Fun to be there.
Did you grow up a BYU fan?
Yeah, I did. Yep, I did. It was never been, any other. I mean, I was like a Texas fan, bandwagon. How every kid kind of does that, but BYU fan, yeah, definitely.
So what was that like to don the Cougar blue and go out there and represent BYU and have the game you had?
Yeah, so I kind of, get in the locker room, I kind of looked at my jersey. I've seen an American Fork jersey, a Snow College jersey, and then seen a BYU jersey. It was kind of cool to me, seeing all my hard work kind of pay off, and, excited, go out there and make some plays for BYU.
You make your first catch as a BYU Cougar. At that moment, what were you feeling, and what were the emotions like?
Well, yeah, it was a weird ball, low ball. Caught it, stood up, and I think I looked up on the mega screen. I saw myself, and I was like, oh, man, not at Snow College anymore.
I'm glad I didn't drop that.
Yeah, I know, right? But, yeah, it was cool, excited to make the catch. We've been practicing it. It's a lot of hard work, it's whatever. But, yeah, it was exciting, looking up and seeing myself, hey, Mom, so it's cool.
Whatever came in the form of 6 catches, 49 yards, targeted 7 times. Those were all team highs.
Yeah.
Did you expect to have that kind of game in game one?
Not really, but I mean, I know I can do that. It's what I did at Snow. I was a big play receiver and, targeted a lot at Snow. So, I mean, excited I got, targeted that many times, but it's not like I was surprised. Oh, I did, I caught those, I know I can do that. And that's what I've been doing for a long time. So, excited to, make some plays or make some plays, yeah.
You expected 100 and only got 49. I think that's what you meant to say, right?
Yes, exactly, yes. Yeah.
Now, there was a pass interference call or a non-pass interference call.
Yeah.
So let's ask you, what was it, pass interference?
It was, yeah. But, I mean, you can't get them all. I mean, they miss them. They called, who was it on our team? Oh, I can't remember his name, but he called us 4-1. That wasn't even, so it's kind of stupid. But McChesney, he called McChesney for 1.
Oh, Austin, yeah.
Austin
right.
McChesney.
Yeah.
So, I was disappointed, but, we'll get more. We'll have more shots, definitely. So
the offense was on the field for 37 minutes. You guys were very methodical and were able to get in the red zone. Got points every time, but what have you guys talked about to try and get better this week?
Yeah, we just got to finish in the red zone. We went to the red zone a couple times, and, we had some opportunities for big plays, miscommunication. So we just got to, execute, be more precise, and, make those plays when they come our way.
How is your relationship with Taysom Hill developing both on and off the field?
Yeah, I mean, as you saw, he's targeting me a lot, trust me on the third down. So, I mean, it's getting better. Every week we get better, he knows me to put the ball, with my speed. And, off the field, funny dude, super cool guy, just a great guy. So I'm excited to be here and excited to, be one of Taysom Hill's guys, so.
You had that one throw deep that, the pass interference wasn't called, but can we expect you beyond the intermediate routes a little more?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I do a lot of it in practice. And then this week we're seeing a lot of man press. So hopefully we'll see a lot more deep balls on Saturday, but I mean, and throughout the season. But yes, I think so. What
does this game mean to you, having grown up in American Fork and being part of the state and this rivalry game as a fan?
It's exciting. All the history with it, big wins. Johnny Harleen catch I mentioned. But yeah, it's fun. It's a big game. Everybody's gonna be watching. All my family, friends. They watched the last game, but more so, everybody's gonna be watching it. So it's just fun. Should be a good game.
It's always a challenge against Utah. Yet the rivalry's taken kind of a different tone with Kalani Sitake. What has he told you guys about this game? Because it's not any game, but you want to respect the opponent, and that's kind of been the rhetoric.
Yeah, of course. We respect every opponent we play, and the Utes are a really, really good team. They've, won a lot of games, and, with Coach Whittingham. So we're just going to go play our game and, trust what we can do and, make plays.
If you had to describe yourself as a player to somebody that knows nothing about you or what you bring to a football field, where would you start?
I'd probably just say explosive, really. I mean, I didn't see a ton of it on Saturday, still a little bit nervous, but as the season goes on, getting more used to playing, big stadiums, a lot, TV, whatever. But probably explosive. You'll be able to, take a little screen to, the house, or, a deep ball, run by somebody. So probably explosive.
I asked that question because a video surfaced of you on day 1 of camp at Snow College of you jumping over a defender.
Okay, yeah. I remember that. Yes, I remember doing that. I do, yes. I remember doing that.
Now, I don't know if the BYU coaches have told you to avoid a scenario like that, but that's, are those the type of things that you want to do?
Yeah, it was kind of scary, not gonna lie. It was, either you're gonna get them or you're gonna get flipped on your neck. So, the Snow coaches told me not to do that again. I haven't tried it. Yeah, I haven't tried it here, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's kind of it just happens.
It's a split-second decision.
Split-second decision. Either you jump or you put your head down. You make a move or whatever. So.
That final drive, you had at least one catch, maybe two. What was it like on that final drive in the huddle as you guys knew, okay, we got to go down and get a score here?
Really, for me, it was just do your job. At Snow, we had a little saying called 111 football. So, just do your job. Everybody else will do their job and come together, and we'll pull off a big win, which we did. So.
And then you see Jake Oldroyd go out there. Did you know who he was?
Yeah, I knew him. He hurt his knee like the first day of fall camp being here, so didn't see him a ton. But everyone was like, he hasn't missed since he's been here. So I was like, well, we're fine. So you believe in your teammates, and you made the kick for us, and it was a big win, exciting.
You holding hands with anybody? You grew up? Where were you?
I was at first, and I was kind of walking around a little nervous. I was, I said a prayer. I'm not gonna lie, I said a prayer.
I think a lot of
people said a prayer, but yeah, a lot. It was nerve-wracking. So
you went through a situation in that game where your arm started to cramp up a little bit, which I think,
I've never heard of an arm cramp.
How does that happen, and how do you overcome that as a receiver? You need your hands and your arms.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened. I was sitting on the sideline talking to Taysom, and my arms were kind of cramping up. My hands kind of looked like no T-Rex kind of thing going. But really, yeah. But yeah, they just put me in an IV and got me back in the game after the third, into the third quarter, and just kept playing.
No more T-Rex arms.
No more T-Rex arms. So it's Saturday. I don't want to do that again.
Normally that's like the safeties come in and you have the T-Rex arms.
Yeah,
For you, it's the first half of your own volition.
Yes. Yeah, it sucked, so don't want to do that again.
All right, Jonah, we wish you the best of luck against Utah in the rivalry game this weekend.
Sweet. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.